So hello everybody, this is American Seagull Predictions, and I'm back with a new video. Today I'm doing my video on how I think Herschel Walker will probably win this election over Raphael Warnock. I remember back in, around January 5th era, right before January 6th, uh, the Democratic Party, with Biden winning the state of Georgia, uh, and his energy, it was just clear that someone like a Democrat would probably win. And there's a lot of Trump turnout, low turnout for Republicans in rural areas. Like the Republicans just didn't come out a ton. And Democrats, but I think the most damage was in areas like Gwinnett, Newton, Henry. As I think Trump was able to do way better in these areas. For some reason, Cobb shifted right. I think that might just be a few neocons that just didn't like Trump. Same with Fulton. But overall, Loeffler was just the most pathetic candidate the Republicans ever ran. She was like a robot, basically. And she, in my opinion, she was just awful with voters. She wasn't able to appeal to them. Now, I don't think Raphael Warnock was as good as Ossoff, but to be honest, Loeffler was just way worse. To be honest, I think I'd be embarrassed if it was Kelly Loeffler. I mean, I think even some parts, maybe someone like MTG could do better in some of these candidates. She would probably way under Warnock, but there might be some areas where she might actually do better than Loeffler, to be honest. I think you kind of just have to look at where you have to do better. You got to do better in areas like Clayton, DelCab, at least do a little bit better, and Fulton and Douglas. You got to do better in all these, a little bit better in Rockdale, like in these areas. But also you're going to do well in this, run up strong margins in these small rural counties. Areas like could get better margin in Landvlier. It might not be enough, but got to run up strong margins, like even more. I think it's definitely possible. But to be honest, I think the southern process takes a long time. A series like Washington, Baldwin, and Sumner, they could get pretty close. And I think we could be seeing something happening. Say, red one last time in Georgia. Now, Real American, I think, has gone a little bit too over the board with, like, Walker +4. I think he's being a little bit too optimistic. Depending on the state's trends and all, I see Warnock, Herschel Walker probably winning by 1 point, to be honest. A little, like, 50,000 vote margin over Raphael Warnock. I think Herschel Walker is going to put together a pretty good campaign. I think he's probably going to do around this in Cobb. I think he'll do better in Gwinnett. I think he'll probably crack 40, as both Republicans failed to crack 40. But it's a new environment, new stuff. And to be honest, even if the trends do hold, I honestly think that the fact that they didn't pass the Build Back Better plan isn't going to really motivate Democrats to get out and vote. And it's just going to leave Democrats at home in Georgia. As that's basically what got Democrats elected in Georgia. Now, I do think Trump also did act like, basically acted on Georgia like it's going to go R by, like, likely margin. Like, safe R. Didn't really do a ton of campaigning. Basically, Hillary in Wisconsin, basically, where she did little to nothing to appeal to those voters. She could have at least made it close. But no, that's basically what happened here. So you gotta keep out. You cannot leave any states off the table. You gotta run them like you're 30 points behind. Like you cannot lose states like Georgia. Now, maybe in the future, I do Republican easily win, even in 2024. Even without states like Georgia or even Michigan, you could actually win with Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona, and even Nevada. Uh, Now, I honestly see uh, Herschel Walker overall is probably going to flip 2 counties. I think he'll flip Washington by 2 points. It barely voted for Biden. Baldwin will probably also flip to Herschel Walker by a point or so. I think even Kemp won it against Stacey Abrams. And Sumner County come to Jimmy Carter barely, as it does have a decreasing black population. I think maybe we could do a little bit better in areas like Peach County, like drive that margin up a little bit more. Um, but to be honest, I think it's pretty good for Herschel Walker. I mean, you gotta remember the environment's awful for Joe Biden overall. He hasn't passed the Build Back Better plan. That's definitely not going to motivate Democrats to get out. Now, if he did pass that, then Warnock might have a chance at narrowly holding on. But that's not going to happen. It doesn't look like that. To get Democrats to get out and vote, they have to have a motivation to get out and vote. Kind of like with Republicans. Kind of like with Loeffler, and they didn't turn out because they didn't really think that they were going to do that much. Well, it looks like it's going to happen to Warnock as well. You have to motivate people to get out and vote. They can't just get out. And that's basically a cope if you're saying, well, Warnock will still win, even with the Build Back Better not passing. That's like the biggest cope ever. I mean, Warnock would probably, I think, might have a possible chance. It'll still probably be less than Loeffler, but he could just eke out a win. If he was able to, possibly the Build Back Better plan to get passing. But in any way, I think states like Georgia are just will come out. I think Georgians will come out. I mean, Biden only won the state by less than 0.2. I think people act like it's no Republican's going to win again just because of the trends. That may be true, but to be honest, you don't know when the liberal trends are going to stop in Atlanta. I mean, they could stop right now, but I have to say, what's going to motivate people, even with Georgia's left-veering trends, I think people are going to have a reason to get out and vote. They're not just going to vote D just because. That's just not going to happen. You have to run on something. You can't just say, I did nothing. Well, I guess for Bob Casey, but to be honest, I think he's just popular in my state. I think he's able to appeal to those moderates, so he did something. Warnock, on the other hand, he's just kind of like this, forgotten Ossoff, which Ossoff ran a way better campaign, in my opinion. Warnock just ran I'm just going to the coattails with Ossoff and make sure he does all my campaigning. Basically that. And Robot Lady was cringe too. So, as you can see, Herschel Walker is going to be Georgia's next senator. I don't see Warnock really holding on. He doesn't really have a ton of energy either. So, even with with Georgia veering left off a cliff. So, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. American Sequel Predictions out.